And get into the video so we can get an update, find out what's going on with what we're talking about.
Griner arrived in San Antonio Friday morning. She had been sentenced to 9 years in a prison camp on drug charges. She was released after Washington and Moscow agreed to a prisoner swap involving a convicted arms dealer. Weijia Zhang has the latest from the White House.
After a grueling stint in a Russian prison, doctors are evaluating Brittney Griner at Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio. She landed in Texas this morning.
She has been reunited with her wife, Sherelle. U.S. officials who met her on the ground said she was in very good spirits, appears to be in good health.
For the first time, a glimpse into Griner's life behind bars, doing hard labor and sleeping in a bed far too tiny for her 6'9" frame. Griner's lawyer told ESPN that she chopped off her signature dreads because it was so frigid, her hair froze. Marine veteran Paul Whelan, imprisoned in Russia since 2018 on what the U.S. calls sham espionage charges, was not part of the exchange, which freed convicted arms dealer Victor Bout, known as the Merchant of Death. Today, Vladimir Putin did not rule out more prisoner swaps, saying anything is possible.
But Victor Bout was the highest profile prisoner we had. So what else do we have?
Well, we'll see. Actions, not words. So we heard what Mr. Putin said. Now let's see what he and his officials are willing to do to help us get Paul home.
A U.S. official tells CBS News that over the summer, Moscow proposed trading Whelan for a Russian assassin who is serving a life sentence in Germany, convicted of murder. The U.S. had no power to release the prisoner, and Berlin refused. Whelan's sister Elizabeth says President Biden called her, vowing not to leave him behind.
I don't look for apologies, I look for action. And I am willing to be very plain spoken about that. What I'm looking for is for us not to let 1 second, no grass grow under our feet over the next few weeks as we move forward trying to figure out how to get Paul back.
Before we even get into this conversation, I got this video from the watch list with J.R. Jackson. Please go take a look at him. And I promise you, the trade did look like it came from a TV show. Literally, the only thing that was missing was it was daytime instead of nighttime and shooting. I guess.
I mean, what else did we expect?
How is it supposed to look?
I don't know what I was expecting. That's the first time I ever seen a president's change or whatever, however you want to call it.
I'm kind of annoyed that we even see some of the stuff that we see, but just like I don't like the dumb questions that get asked.
On this one, I'm not. On this one, I'm not.
Because
they
agree, but just because I personally am interested doesn't mean I need to see it.
They are covering their butts left and right. That's all this is.
What do you mean covering their butt?
Why do
What's the cover?
They look like they heard. They look like you did something to it. Why it look like this? Why? No, they filmed everything.
Yeah. I don't know. I understand. See, the thing for me is like this is part of that steady spiral that we're on. Like this is how we ended up electing a TV personality to be our president. You know, everything is about entertain us. We want to know this. First, we had the guy we want to drink a beer with. Then we got the guy you want to hang out with. Then you got the guy from TV. It's just really. If I'm telling y'all right now, I get out of some stuff like that. Just let me go home to my wife, and y'all can have a press conference with me in a couple days. You know what I mean? Let the government do what they need to do with me. The doctors do what they need to do with me, and let me start the process of like readjusting to being home. But it's like this whole thing is just one big TV show for us. And it's just that part just leaves a taste in my mouth. And like, yeah, I wanted to see it because she's one of ours and she made it home and all that good stuff. But it still kind of feels cheap because like you're not giving the family what they need, especially when we know this is offset by two more families. And it's just
I get what you're saying,
it's just
Theus,
propaganda, and it's annoying.
but that was my question to you: is when do it start and stop? Because you can't have this high-profile WNBA athlete being arrested on bogus drug charges, sentenced to jail, and then we can't just click it off and go, "Well, we released her."
Well, you
Now
wouldn't
for
be.
the weather, it's
No,
like
but you wouldn't be. I mean, in a way, yes. Actually, that is kind of how it would flow. But it's not over just because you're not getting to it immediately. You know, this is the trade that was struck. These are the trade-offs, you know, that we're now willing to talk to you about. We're still working to get the other two home. You know, all that conversation can still happen. Watching her on camera every step she takes is just not necessary. You just tell me that she made it home because her family's going to make sure we know she's home, right? If she didn't actually make it home, her family would make sure we knew. But it's just that we're curious and we feel like we want to be entertained by everything. And that's just how that's just how I feel about it. I'm not saying I'm right. It's just the way it feels to me because I don't know. Everything ain't, I don't know. Reality TV has just gotten infiltrated every part of our life.
Anna?
I do agree. I mean, that was the first time I had seen anything about any video about the release. And to all the people who are going, but he's a convicted arms dealer. You know, back when he was taken, that was his thing. He was going to go into retirement. He also, he made a lot of money. There are a lot of people that get a good amount of dough by dealing with arms. And he armed predominantly black and brown countries that were in positions that they were in primarily because of us. So there's always just a little bit more to the story. Like, I didn't like the media, the way that it had come out.
Tracy?
I have so many thoughts.
But we're glad that you're home, Brittney. Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry.
To the family of Paul Whelan, I know you're mad that he's over there. I get it. But it seems like his family is a little, and this is just my perspective, they're a little salty they're salty for a reason. But when they heard about her release, what I think they should have said is, "Hey, we're glad she's home, but now bring Paul home."
They did.
Did
they did say that.
I have not
that's
seen
all
that
they've
clip.
been saying. It's been everybody else.
I haven't seen that clip.
Yeah.
Okay, so I haven't seen that clip. The other thing is, the media has covered it. I haven't watched the media coverage on purpose. Unfortunately, I've had the duty of going on Facebook. Oh my gosh, what's wrong with people? What is wrong with people? You got two trains of thoughts. Either people asking, is she going to stand for the national anthem now that she's free? Like, what does that have to do with anything? Or you have well, she's just a WNBA player. Why can't she just stay there? Shut up, people. Just shut up. She already had, basically 3 strikes. She was in the LGBTQI community. Strike one. Strike two, she's female. Strike three, she's black. There's nothing that's working in her favor. You can't just be glad that she's home. You just have to start asking stupid questions like, why did he leave the other hostage there? Putin doesn't want to release him. I don't know why Putin is acting like a big old baby. That's what he is. But shut up. I haven't seen any media coverage because I just refuse to watch them ask dumb questions like, how's it feel to be home? No. Let her get the evaluations that she needs. And other thing, the NBA/WNBA, y'all have to set this up so your players don't have to go overseas to play for money. That y'all trifling. That's
a little bit of a stretch, though.
They trifling.
They are, because the way that they treat all their players except for their marquee players. But like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay. Tracy. I was reading somewhere that a study showed that a mascot for an NBA team makes more than a WNBA player. Are you serious? Are you serious? I don't like basketball, period. Like, I'm not going to ever watch a basketball game. It's just not going to happen. So I'm not going to watch men's basketball, which I think is boring. And I'm not going to watch women's basketball, which I think is boring. But y'all got to do something about, she had to travel to Russia to play because the money she was making in the WNBA wasn't enough for her to live. That's ridiculous.
But she didn't have to play in Russia. All right. So first
of all, she could have, but Russia pays a lot. 2020.
Hindsight's 2020. But
you got to go where the money is.
Got to tear a few pieces apart, in my opinion. And once again, it's just my opinion. So go ahead, at me, because I know you're going to. But WNBA, everybody talking about how little the WNBA players
make no money.
Paid. All right. Well, look at the fan base. Okay. Women ain't even watching the WNBA.
They're not. That's the other problem they got.
So you don't have the viewership to support the marketing and the advertising. Because like the advertisers go where the eyes are. So if more women would watch the WNBA, then maybe numbers could swell some. But what's being asked is generally, and this is a proxy argument, it's like a separate argument, but what keeps getting brought up every time is how much less women get paid for WNBA versus NBA. They're two different things.
But the thing is, the mascot,
the WNBA couldn't even exist without the NBA.
The mascot. Yes, that's
because
ridiculous.
The mascot is underneath that structure. It's
that's
under the
ridiculous.
NBA structure. It is, but the way to fix it is more men need to watch and more women need to watch. But right now, the product is not generating the interest. And so
which is why
that's why the money ain't there. That's that part. Another part, playing in Russia. Okay. This is my opinion before she ever got taken. There's certain countries.
But that's what money is.
Okay, hey, well, that's then when you do that, there are risks you're taking.
Yeah.
Right? You decide
she could have played in Croatia, France.
You decide I'm gonna go play for what's another North Korean basketball. And you get there and can't get out. That was part of the risk. Because there's like 5-6 countries, they're direct adversaries to your country. Now, prior to this, Russia was kind of stable. So, and she had been playing there for a couple years. So she had no reason to think that this was going to happen to her. So this is not about Brittney, this part I'm talking about. I'm just talking about if you going to go somewhere to get some money, all money ain't good money. So you got to figure out where the hell you going. Because Russia is known that the moment you get in their airspace, they tap in your phone, they tap in your computer, they got somebody following you, they know any and everything you do. So my mind says Brittney was over there. She was a celebrity to them because she made them a lot of money playing over there. Mm-hmm. More, probably as much, if not more, than she makes over here. Okay. and they let her have her vape cartridges and live her life as a celebrity over there. But when it became beneficial to use her as a token and leverage, that's what they did.
Yeah, that's because Putin is a big. Well,
so that's not
Putin
her fault.
Something.
So none of that's her fault.
No,
she never should have been taken. Where I was getting upset with people on social media is that we're always just waiting for the next thing to be at each other's throats about. Because our real problem isn't the topic of the day. Our problem is each other. We don't like each other. So anything that comes up, we're going to draw lines. And we're going to say, well, if you didn't say, yay, Brittney's home, and stop, then all of a sudden, anything you say after that, you become an enemy. Like, I don't think that it's wrong to say Brittney's home. She should be home because she was there on trumped up charges. She was used as a political pawn, and there's no reason she should have been there. So thank you for bringing her home. And saying you are trading a basketball player for a terrorist. That is an imbalanced trade.
Yeah, we got worked on that one.
That ain't the same as saying she shouldn't be home.
She should be home.
That's saying that thank you for bringing her home. But boy, that was a jacked up deal.
I said when it first happened that hey Susan.
Hey Susan.
I feel some type of way, and I guess you put it in the words that I was trying to think, because it was like, I want her released. She was there under false pretense. We've heard the stories that she's done this many times with the vape, and nobody said nothing, and now all of a sudden it's a 9-year sentence. I mean, come on. And it just so happened to be around you was in the middle of a war. Like, come on, dude. Really, we know this is BS. I'm like, but, and I guess I should say, I guess the one word that I shouldn't use was the word but. Thank you for releasing Brittney. I'm glad she's home. I'm glad she's back with her family. I'm glad that she's safe. And it's really messed up that you had to trade her for a very well-known arms dealer.
But you got to think about what Anna was saying. Who was he dealing arms
He wasn't well known.
Well, see, now that's another discussion, and I was going to let that one roll because, he might have been selling arms to, melanated countries, but he wasn't doing this as some charitable.
Oh no, I wouldn't. I'm not going to say
he was making money.
He was making money. Dude,
weapons
he
in
was
Chicago.
making his money.
You know what I'm saying?
He
trading
was
death. That's what he's doing.
But the way the propaganda. Yeah, I agree with Mickey.
That's because the people on the quote unquote right, they don't care about her. Let's just be very frank. We got to cut through the BS. Their attacks are not about her. They're just using her to make the attacks. It wouldn't matter what it is. Whatever stance Biden takes, they take the opposite. Period.
Yeah. If he got Paul Whelan back, well, what about Brittney Griner? You gotta blah blah blah.
Well, what about
the worst argument that I heard was, if you made a trade, like now you don't made a trade for Brittney, so that's just gonna open up the floodgates. And I'm thinking, but if we did a trade with Paul, is that not the same thing?
To them, it's not.
But see, they would have still said something, because if he had done the trade, he had left Brittney there and he had taken Paul. Then it would have been you're negotiating with terrorists and blah 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 blah. It still would have been the similar argument. No, they just wouldn't have been able to have the backdrop of race because people take easy bait. Brittney Griner was not described as a black athlete the entire time she was over there. She was not described as a lesbian athlete the whole time she was over there. She was just she was a U.S. citizen, WNBA player held hostage. It was when she got released, all of a sudden, all of our baggage comes spilling out. That's when we start saying, well, she's and I'm not picking at you, Tracy, but this is what people would say. Well, she's gay, black, and and tall, and blah, 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 blah. We throw all the adjectives out there. But real talk, that's all secondary. It wouldn't matter.
She's over there. She shouldn't have been captured. What we gonna do about it?
Thank you. So you brought her home.
That's it.
Good job. And then the dude who's over there, Waylon, and then the other guy. There's another guy over there too. But Waylon is over there on espionage charges that are probably trumped up. I don't know. Personally, I look at him and I'm like, yeah, you look kind of CIA-ish to me. But he's over there. All right, do what you can do to bring him home. Right? But every time a Republican said, if a Republican ever says some mess in my presence about this trade, I will ask, why didn't your president bring him home?
Yeah, because him and Putin were like BFFs. Oh no,
your president didn't mention that man's name one time. That man, all he asked for was for
and the deal was on the table. The deal was on the table.
And somebody reneged, or somebody said no. I wonder who that was, but they'll never say that. But I'm going to go with this: if Biden had brought home Waylon instead of Brittney Griner, they would have found some black conservative. They'd have found him. Brought him on the Fox. He cares nothing about black Americans.
Yep.
He's leaving that woman over there, that strong.
And we would have ate it up.
We sure would have.
We would have ate it up. All of a sudden,
it depends on which
the gay
black
community would be mad at Biden. The black community would be mad at Biden. Black women would say, we ain't voting for you no more. Absolutely.
Yeah, I just can't stand people. I'm like, do you want her? This is what I wanted to ask people on Facebook so bad. Do you want her in prison or do you want her home? Which one is it? Because y'all seem just y'all seem madder that she's home than you was when she's in prison. What?
Because you can't win. And that's the difficult thing about being the president and being these people who have to make these decisions. You can't win. You have to do what you feel is best given all the things you have in front of you. And anything that we can come up with about this trade or any other move that Biden makes,
we're calling it
it's
a trade,
all
though.
in the dark because we don't know a tenth of what he does.
But
not even a tenth. Like this man wakes up and by 5 a.m. has gotten all the worst information you can.
Not Trump. He had people draw pictures for him. He didn't even
yeah. Well, that was Trump though.
That was Trump.
Mm-hmm.
But did we say this yesterday that they already got in their heads what the answer is going to be, regardless of what the question was? Like it did not matter who was released, who was the trade for, when it was done, and everything. They already had an answer for it. It doesn't matter.
Nope.
That's why. I get what Theus is saying because I got something for Theus and got something for Tracy, but it's kind of the same thing. Why everybody wants to watch these videos and everything? Because more people want to watch it.
I haven't watched.
We need to just go to the people and say, "Hey, why do you want to watch this stuff?" Because you're the reason why they keep playing the videos. I've told y'all about news and media. It ain't the good old days where it was trying to get information out. Now it's about getting clicks and likes and advertisement and everything else. And if the people keep watching it and people keep wanting it, they're going to keep putting it up.